Great. Welcome, everybody. Going to give this a minute or two, let people file in, but good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you guys are. Always good to see the Sourcepass community show up in full force for these webinars. Seems like we've started something here that you guys really like, so happy to see so many people filing in. And Jolynn, I was doing my usual little bit of research. I'm here with Jolynn Reed. My name is Alan Bauman, by the way. I should mention that. Just doing a little bit of research on Copilot because it's so new. And,
yes.
Just the numbers kind of are sort of astonishing. This is a product that's launched in October of last year. So, 6 months, maybe not even, in terms of its existence, and already 70 million users.
Crazy.
Yeah, 70 million users. And some other interesting stats, 70% of people claim a productivity boost, and 68% of people report an increase in the quality of their work, which I thought was really interesting as well. That it's not just speed, but it's also quality. So that's, I don't know, that was interesting to me.
I like to hear that. Good.
Yeah.
I tell you, I can't live without it.
Already, it's just so quick that we adopt these things. I know here at Sourcepass, we're right in the middle of adopting it. It's really changed our meetings and a number of other things. So it's super helpful. All right, it looks like we've got pretty much a full house here. So welcome again, Sourcepass community. I'm Alan Bauman. I'm here with Jolynn Reen, and we're happy to have you here for this session. This is a part of our learning series. We do these once a month at this point. And our objective here is to help you use the tools that you probably already have. And I will qualify that by saying that, maybe some of you, maybe a lot of you don't have Copilot already, but, give you an opportunity to see what that looks like. But the idea here is help you use the tools that you probably already have or may have soon more efficiently and more effectively. This is open to the entire Sourcepass community. Anybody at any of the businesses that you work for, please feel free to remind them, to let them know that this is going on. We will also extend this to your friends. So, your friends are our friends is the way we feel about it. So if you have a colleague at another company, absolutely share the invitation. We'd be happy to have them join us here. There is a registration page on our website for signing up for these. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end of the session here. There's some good ones coming up, and you have the ability to go ahead and just register for all of them at once if you want. And again, feel free to share those with folks that you think might be interested in that. We also do have a digital transformation series. The focus of these sessions is a little bit different, so the digital transformation series is really focused on technologies, best practices that might be new to you, might be new to your organization. So bigger picture kind of stuff, disaster recovery, backup and disaster recovery, I know has been a topic recently. So, but other sort of bigger IT related topics are kind of the mission there. So just from a housekeeping standpoint, the webinar will run about an hour today, a little longer, a little shorter. We encourage you to ask questions, and the best way to do that is just by using the Q&A button. And when we find a break in the action, I may interrupt Jolynn and ask her to sort of field a few of the questions. We will get to all of them before we wrap up. So feel free to submit those at any point in time. There's also a feedback survey going out tomorrow. And if you could complete that, we do really appreciate that. One of the things that we love is for you to give us some ideas for future topics. If there are things that are in your mind, certainly let us know about those. And we do read all of them and take all of those very seriously into consideration when thinking about the next topic. So if you've been on the first couple, you're very familiar with Jolynn Reen, who is an expert Microsoft instructor. She and I have worked together for a number of years, and I keep trying to find things that she doesn't know, and I've yet to find any. So maybe somebody can stump her today. I don't know. So anyway, without further ado, Jolynn, I'll hand it over to you.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Alan. So welcome everybody to our session here today. I really love these topics that we've been doing in these different events. Today we're going to be, of course, focusing on using some great Windows 11 features. So what I want to kind of start with is really kind of talking about Windows 11 itself, because it does have a lot of wonderful features. And of course, I'll get to our main topic. But when you are using Windows 11, just a couple of things I want to make you aware of. Of course, when you look at your taskbar at the bottom of the screen, it is centered now. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I absolutely love it. And I encourage you to keep it that way, although you can change it if you need to. It can be moved back to the left, but encourage you to keep it that way because it is set up in a more user-friendly method. But I'll kind of talk about some of the tools, of course, and especially the Copilot feature that is now built in. But the start menu has been realigned. And kind of why I'm bringing this up when we're talking about Copilot today is because with Windows 11, it is very interactive, of course, with your Microsoft 365 apps. And you're going to be seeing a lot of that integration today as we start talking about using Copilot. Everything is integrated from one app to the next. And you're going to see a lot of that today when it comes to really kind of working with the features that we have available. Sorry, I keep getting notifications. I'm going to slide that over here to my other screen here and get that shut off. My notifications keep popping up. Sorry about that. But when it comes to working with Windows 11, it integrates so much with your other applications. So I'll give you some demonstrations of that. But one of the things to be aware of that if you're new to Windows 11 that I just want to mention is at the bottom right where you have your system tray, where it's going to give you access to your Wi-Fi connection and all of those types of features. That has changed a little bit now on the way that we manage those types of things. So if you go to like your Wi-Fi icon, you know, your typical Wi-Fi icon at the bottom, the way that this is set up now is do not click on the Wi-Fi image itself. Uh, just a fair warning because it will turn your Wi-Fi off. If you need to connect to a different physical location, because maybe I'm at a client's or wherever, you can click on the arrow and that will show you the local connection that you have access to. Just don't be clicking on the icons of your Bluetooth or anything because that will actually unconnect you, just so you're aware of that. Also on the bottom left, you can see my weather at the bottom left. I'm in Florida today and it's 83 degrees and sunny, as you can see. When you hesitate on that, you're going to get widgets. And I encourage you to use these widgets. The widgets are live connections. They're like the live tiles that we got back in Windows 8. I think, I don't know, it's been so long that we've had these, but these are live tiles basically that are always updating with the most current information depending on the tiles that you have. There's going to be some more connectivity with Copilot in this area too, which is one of the reasons I'm bringing it up. But I'm just going to kind of hesitate away from it and it automatically disappears. So when it comes to using Windows 11, there is a built-in pre-version of Copilot. I'm not sure why it still says pre, if you look at my screen on the bottom right, I have the icon for Copilot for Windows. It's in a preview state still. I'm not sure why, and I just did a Windows update this morning. But it has been out for quite a long time, and so that preview will go away on the icon, and the icon will just be your standard Copilot. But let me explain first what exactly is Copilot. So Copilot, just like in an airplane, is a helper tool to allow you to use the large language model with a chat GPT situation where it can be analyzing the data that you want it to be seen or analyzing the data you want it to analyze. It can be connected with your Microsoft 365 account, and you're going to see some examples of how beneficial that actually is today. It can also just be searching the internet for information. And I'll talk a little bit more about what I mean by that and how recent and all of that. So Copilot is a ChatGPT feature. It is created with Microsoft, of course, and AI. It uses the AI technology. It is very similar to using ChatGPT. So if you go to your account for ChatGPT, you're going to see some similarities, except for the fact that it can actually read and analyze your data coming from your Microsoft account, which to me is absolutely a fantastic feature. So Copilot is an AI tool that we use, and we can use it for just about anything, helping us compose things, helping us recompose things, recreating things. It can work with files, it can work with emails. Alan had mentioned about meetings. It has so many tools built in. There's separate sessions that we'll do on Copilot for 365. Today, we're going to really be focusing more on how to utilize this tool directly through your Windows operating system, which is pretty crazy that we can do that. Now, of course, we will be using an internet browser as well, and I am using Microsoft Edge, just so you're aware when I go into the internet. So I'm going to first talk about using Copilot directly through the bottom right of your taskbar in Windows 11. Then I'll go to the internet and talk about how to use it directly through there, because there's going to be some differences and some different things that you may want to use, but in all essentials, it's really kind of the same, and you'll see that here in a minute. So if you open Copilot by clicking on the icon, it opens up a pane that really covers over your screen. It is going to cover up your screen. So first thing at the top of it, what you're going to find are some different tools. So you can open the Copilot directly within Microsoft Edge. That's your first icon. You can also refresh the window. Sometimes I've needed to refresh because I was actually working with, and let me start a new chat here. I was actually working with what was I working on just a minute ago? Oh, I was working on a file, and then I had closed the file, and I forgot I wanted to find out something about the file, and Copilot did not show that file in my recent. You'll see what I mean by that in a minute. So that refresh can help refresh it so that it knows what your most current files were that you were working on. We also have the ... menu for more options. That gives you the refresh, gives you some other information. You can also go into learn more, and there's the settings. If you open up the settings, I turned on, it's not on by default, but I turned on allow Copilot to read context clues from Microsoft Edge. So you can see that it says Copilot can give better answers based on your current web page browser history or your preferences in Microsoft Edge. So I think that that's a good thing to have turned on, but it is not turned on by default, because this way it knows what you've been searching for and it can give you better results. So anyway, I turned mine on because I definitely want to take advantage of everything that I possibly can that's available. So beyond that, on the top right, you're going to find a show side by side. So if you are working on a document, but you also you don't want Copilot covering up your document or whatever, you can always do a side by side very quickly with that. Which, by the way, of course, Windows 11 has some new great tools for viewing things side by side, where you can have different sides of the screen be bigger. You can have 4 different windows open at the same time. It's just an enhancement from our previous versions of Windows. So Windows 11 gives you a 100% upgrade to Windows 11 if you possibly can. Anyway, Copilot itself, when you look at the top, it knows who I am. It knows I'm connected to my Microsoft account, and it's showing me my company name. At the top right, I'm on the work right now, which I have Copilot for my Microsoft 365. Whole nother session, we can work with that. But if you have Copilot for Microsoft 365, you get additional tools available through this Windows Copilot than you do if you don't have a Copilot license for 365. Otherwise, Copilot is part of Windows 11. You just don't have the direct connectivity with other areas. I do have that described in a handout for you as well. But I'm going to do some examples of both using the work and using the web. So if I click web, I get different tools available than if I'm on work. So what you're going to get in any of your Copilot areas that you're working with, first you're going to see, of course, it says Copilot, and mine is telling me of the Microsoft 365 because I'm on the work. So it is utilizing the Copilot through 365. I could generate ideas. These are some suggestions, by the way, that it's giving us. I could figure out what's new from a specific person within my organization or within communicating with other people. I also have this how-to. So we could go directly into a chat with those topics and start chatting with based on whatever it is you want to chat with. Down at the bottom is your chat window. So just like if you were in ChatGPT's website, this works the same that way. You can see that I have an icon with a plus sign down at the bottom. That is to start a new chat because you want to keep the topic of whatever it is that you're chatting with the same, consistent throughout the chat. If you have a totally new topic that you want to do a new chat instead. And you want to get familiar with doing prompts. So when we type something in where it says, ask me anything or type a slash to add people, files, or more, I'll demonstrate that here in a second, but that is where we will type in, whatever it is that we want ChatGPT to help us with. You want to make sure that the questions that you are asking, they're called prompts, that you are using good prompts. So I'll show you some examples of good prompts today. You want to give it as much information as you possibly can to have the computer help narrow down what it is that it is going to provide us for an answer. So if you don't give it a good prompt, you're not going to get as good of information back out of Copilot. So Copilot looks at your account for your 365 and it can help analyze different information. So just so you know a little bit about how you could use this, you could actually use this to get into your Windows 11 settings. So if I wanted it to get to my mouse settings, if I just physically type mouse settings and press enter, it's going to bring up information related to my mouse settings. But what if I actually want it to open that app for me? I could say open and then give it the app that I want it to open. So if I wanted to open Microsoft Word, I wanted to open, the calculator, whatever, I could actually tell it to do that. So what you're seeing that it just told me right now is it gave me just information about my mouse settings, tells me how to get to it. So I'm going to say open mouse settings. But we can have the Copilot work with us on different aspects. Oops, it doesn't like what I was asking it. Sorry. I've never tried the mouse settings. I'm going to say, oops, sorry. I'm going to type in open computer settings. So just so you know, it can do different things based on the prompts that we give it. So, okay, it's being weird right now with what I'm asking it, so I'm just going to say stop responding. But anyway, some things that we could do with it, we can have it change to dark mode versus the light mode or vice versa. We can have it take a screenshot. There's all different kinds of things that we physically can have it do. But the big thing that we do with it is chatting or working with other people. Let me get my little notes here, some things that I wanted to demonstrate for you. So one of them is I could actually tell it or ask it to create things for me. Like I'm going to do, and I'm going to actually select some text and copy and paste it so I don't have to type. I'm going to put in, create a 5-question quiz about Excel pivot tables. I'm just going to press enter. Now, of course, I did not start a new chat. So I should have, because Really, when I have a new topic, I want to start a new chat because I was talking about mouse settings prior to that. But it does still give me the correct way, the correct answer to what it is that I was looking for. So I could say specifically, I want to know about slicers, or I want to know about this, or I want to know about that. And I could say, give me, quiz questions about those. I could say what type of questions I want, how I want the quiz to give me a Likert scale, that type of thing. We can feed it whatever information you want to generate back. The more you give the prompt, the better the response would be. But what it also did, which is super intelligent, and I am so excited about this feature, this whole Copilot because of this, is what it did at the bottom after it gave me my, here's some examples of multiple choice or true and false type questions. I can go down to the bottom and I can click on the icon to copy this. I can copy it and have it go directly into a Word document or wherever, OneNote notebook, wherever I really want to paste it. But it also took it a little bit further and gave me some other suggestions. So anytime that you prompt it with something, it's going to give you additional things that you can narrow it down with. So how do I create a pivot table in Excel? Tell me more about pivot tables. What are some common uses of pivot tables? So I could be doing things like that. But I'm going to actually attach a file. Let me take this a little bit further because in this chat at the bottom, I have this attachment icon. I also have this icon for plugins. And first, let me talk about the plugins. If I click plugins, it gives you some information, and this is a preview. And I know that ChatGPT has already gone away from plugins. So if you're familiar with ChatGPT at all, they no longer have plugins. They use GPTs instead, where we do the generative transformation, etc. So plugins, I don't know what's going to happen with the future of those here in Copilot. I haven't found any information say they're going to do the same as Copilot and just use GPTs. But basically what a plugin is it allows us to use additional apps going to the internet to generate the responses to the prompts that we're giving the chat. So, I mean, it's absolutely perfect. I love it. Because if I go to ask it certain things, like I'm going to do an example of, I want to find flights to a specific, from this place to this place, it can do that. It can find current information by searching the web. So if you don't have that turned on, I do encourage you to turn it on. So just slide the button over if you need to. But I'm going to actually attach a file. If I click the attachment icon, it pops up this great little menu. And what you're going to see is it shows me recent things. So under the all category, I see myself, I see a coworker, student one. I see some recent files that I was working on and some recent emails and things like that. But if I want to narrow it down based on people, or I could do it based on current files, I could click files. Hey, by the way, can I mention something? Because it just did it to me. Sometimes it's a little sluggish. If you stop and think about everything that it's analyzing with your whole account, sometimes it's going to be a little sluggish. But it's analyzing what I've recently been doing. Excuse me. If I click on meetings, it can access any of my recent meetings that I've had. It can look at recent emails. So it's got these different filtered options. But in the chat itself, when I clicked on the paperclip, it actually gave me this slash. And that is a way that we can prompt the computer to start looking for something. It's like it's going to start searching. So as an example, if I have it start searching Excel, I'm going to just start typing Excel. It's starting to search what I've recently been doing and anything that's saved cloud-based and etc. It will look through my recent items or my 365 items and actually locate whatever it is that I start typing on. So let's say that I want to take this Word document, this Excel pivot table, slicers, and timelines, since I'm kind of on that topic. It automatically is attached this file. I'm just going to press submit, that little paper airplane at the bottom right, or press enter, just to see what it's automatically going to do. So basically what it just is doing is it's analyzing the file. It's taking a look at that actual file and it's going to bring back a summary of that file. So certainly here's the document, blah, blah, blah. Got features like slicers and timelines. It also includes instruction on creating Excel formulas. I could ask it something like, does it include the XLOOKUP function? And I can press enter and see if that could be included in there. By the way, when I ask things like this, it's going to also give me some suggestions based on whatever it is that I type in. So if I want to get more information about what an XLOOKUP function is, etc., it can actually do that. I could even say, how do I use an XLOOKUP function, or give me some examples on using an XLOOKUP function, etc. So it analyzes everything for us. And it's even telling me, however, there is a separate document. So it didn't find that topic in that file that I had attached. But this is amazing. This to me blows my mind sometimes. This is why I get the shivers when I think about how smart this is, because it's telling me, however, there is a separate document that's titled Excel 365 Level 2 that does include a section on XLOOKUP function. So yes, this document doesn't have it, but this document does. I have the shivers all over my body right now thinking about what it just did for me. I don't have to worry about it. So if I want to go into that other file, I can start typing a slash. I can start typing in Excel level 2, because that was what it had told me. And it said it was Excel level 365 level 2. So I could put in Excel 365 level 2, and it's going to navigate through my documents that are all cloud-based, and it's going to find that file for me. So if I open that up, I can ask questions about that specific file. This is mind-blowing on, I don't even know if I could have dreamed of ever having this in the future, kind of the Jetson kind of days. It is fantastic that we have this built in. Just by clicking on an icon for Copilot, we have access to all of this information. But let me give you some other ways that we can actually be utilizing this. I'll just press enter right now so I can get back to my main menu. It's going to analyze that document. I could say, give me a summary, write for me a short, funny statement about this, this Word document, whatever. I could keep analyzing further and further details about the specific file. But let me go into some other really cool things that this Copilot can do. I'm going to start a new chat. So I'm in a brand new chat. Once again, I get my suggestions at the top. And I'm going to actually click on the attachment icon at the bottom right again, or the bottom left of this window again. And what I want it to actually do is I wanted to actually look for emails from a specific person. So maybe I wanted to look for, oh, and by the way, back on that file, one thing that I forgot to mention, I could actually have it take that file, not only summarize the file, but I could also have it give me questions that I could ask an audience about it, or maybe give me a quiz. So when you think about the things that you can have ChatGPT, Copilot basically, do with a file, it's unbelievable. But if I want to analyze an Excel file, I am going to the Copilot directly within Excel and analyzing it that way, because we get better results when you're actually in the file itself, just so you kind of know. But anyway, I want to actually start looking up information about a person. So I'm going to see if it will start looking for a person as I just start typing their name. Okay. It's being a little bit slow, so I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to click on attachment again, and I'm going to go to people. If I want to look up information about a coworker, I have student 1. What is new with this user? I could have it look up a coworker this way. Somebody that is a part of my domain, it automatically finds them. I don't have a big domain on this account that you're seeing here, but it automatically will analyze different information about that person. It's right now, you can see it's combing through my documents, my emails, my meetings, etc., and it's going to come back with all this information that I have been working on with that coworker. it could bring back different, and maybe I want, what is the latest email? I could even have it go to an email and summarize that email. So now it's combing through my emails looking for the most recent email that I had from that person. So it's looking through my messages. This to me is unbelievable on what we can have it be doing. But let me do another example. I think I'll go to the attachment. Let me go to meetings. And I want to do a specific meeting. And let me actually start typing the name of the meeting. So I'm looking for a specific meeting, and that meeting was actually, let me see if it will look for it based on this person. Maybe not. So let me actually look for, oh, here. Workflows for attachments was the name of the meeting. And if I want to, I'm just going to click submit so it analyzes that information about that meeting. And this is something Alan was talking about earlier. I do a lot of this directly within the Copilot in Microsoft Teams as well. But here's the information about that meeting. It doesn't matter what platform the meeting was done on. It could have been any, Teams, Zoom, whatever. It doesn't really matter. You can see all the corresponding information about it. And it wants to know, do I want to summarize the email that was from me to Russell? I could click on that because it's giving me suggestions. So we can have it further be drilling in to do different information for us based on whatever it is that we're having it look up. So we can have it analyze, and I have it all the time. I'm having it, did I respond to this person and what did I say? So that I don't have to go searching for things. I'm having Copilot do things for me. But I could have it say, I could say I wanted to find an email from this specific person with an attachment, just like we could do a search right in Outlook, and it can analyze that. Here in Copilot, it's going to analyze it a little bit further than just finding the file for us. It's going to find the email, but it's also going to give you additional information about it. And to me, that is fantastic because especially if you've done the communication, back and forth with people, it will take that whole string of that conversation and analyze the whole thing for you. It's like, I cannot believe that I could do that. It's so wonderful. So these are some features with the work capability of this Copilot for Windows 11. But let me go to the top right and I'm going to click on Web. Because remember, work was related to our 365 connection. First thing that I want to point out is what you're seeing on the screen is a little bit different. You could see there's some, I can use the arrows going left and right to see these different types of prompts up at the top. Here's some suggestions. It's a good idea if you're new to this to kind of go through these different suggestions to see what are some people asking. And by the way, they update this on a regular basis based on people, what they're analyzing, what are people asking. So that does change. But down below, what it's giving us is some suggestions on generate an image, which I'm going to do an example of that. What is the major health or medical news updates this week? You can ask it anything. And let me point out this, where it has GPT-4 versus GTPT, sorry, can't say that, acronyms, jeepers, for Turbo. Turbo is the latest update of GPTs. So the version is 4, but the benefit of this is, and this will be in your handout as well, the information is updated up to 2023. So the older versions of GPT was 2021. Now it's 2023, and they continue to add, of course. Now, just keep in mind, though, too, you have those, the apps in the background, the GPTs that it's utilizing as well, so we can get current information. Just so you know, it's using the web to search. But the main information in it is only up to 2023 with the Turbo. So let's say that I wanted to find flights from New York City to Denver. We were just talking about Denver, Colorado, on, I should say, departing use my airline terminology, departing on May 1st and returning on May 7th. It can find whatever it is that we prompt it with. It is just like going to the website for ChatGPT and asking it specific questions. Notice what it just was telling me at the top. Let me scroll back up here. What it was telling me is New York to Denver flights. It's talking about learn more from Bing, etc. But it's showing me what it's utilizing. It's actually using cheapflights.com. We could actually say use Expedia, but you could just directly go to these links as well. So it's giving me round trip versus one-way tickets. It's showing the destination, the departing and the arrival area, the date, which of course I could change. Ooh, we could get a pretty cheap flight on Frontier. But anyway, you can see all the different options. If I need more options, I could also come down and I could ask it more information. Can you recommend any airline? Is food served on any of these flights? I could ask further information regarding what it's brought up. So if you're going to be doing a business trip and you want it to be, whatever type of seating you want, any of that kind of information, you could be asking it that as well. Even if you need hotel accommodations when you arrive in Denver, find me something that is within an hour's drive of, the Denver airport that has these types of accommodations, all kinds of things. So as you can see, it gives me further information. So we can be using the work portion of this. We can be using the web portion of this built-in Copilot built into Windows 11. But I want to take this a little bit further. So we have the internet, of course, that we can also be utilizing. So I'm going to go ahead and close this Copilot. And I'm actually going to go to my internet browser. And like I said, I'm using Microsoft Edge. And I could go directly to a search engine. I could go to MSN and I could have it analyze data for me. So if I have something like I put a prompt in here so I didn't have to type it when we were on the session here, can Copilot analyze Excel data? If I press enter on a topic like that, you know how you search for anything on the internet, we've always had search engines we can go to. It's using Bing by default because that's what I have it set up to do and that's what I want it to do. I'm going to tell you this is absolutely fantastic, but it's going to give you your search results like you always have gotten. It gives you, people that have paid for, all that kind of information. It gives you all this results. But one thing that it does also is it's using Copilot by default. So when you put in a search and you press enter, you can actually scroll up. Instead of scrolling down for the results, scroll your wheel up a little bit. It goes into Copilot automatically. So you can see that the question that I asked it, which was, can Copilot analyze Excel data? It says certainly, and it says subscription requirements. So I have to have my Microsoft account. I need to have certain things. I have to have Excel. I can have a pro subscription to my Microsoft Copilot. Here's the requirements. Using Copilot in Excel, it's giving me all this detail. So if I scroll up, when I search for something, it automatically goes into Copilot. Otherwise, if I keep scrolling down, it just went back to the search results. Sometimes if you're scrolling through your search results and you click on a link to one of the results, it takes you directly into Copilot also. But otherwise, if you know you want Copilot, just scroll up a little bit and you're automatically in Copilot. Let me do another example. Let's say that I am, what is the best all-in-one printer? I'm going to narrow that down and say 2024. So I have it automatically giving me these results. But once again, if I scroll up, I could access Copilot. But notice when I did this search, and I mentioned that it's using Microsoft Bing search at the top left here, I also have my Copilot icon. If I click my Copilot icon, it automatically opens Copilot as well. So if I don't scroll up, I can click on that and it's going to analyze the information within Copilot. So it's giving me what it found off the internet as being the latest and greatest of the all-in-one units. I could, of course, be asking it specific information related to that as well, like where is the best price for an HP all-in-one? It can give me results on where I could go and buy different all-in-one HP printers. Is the ink expensive? It automatically can do whatever it is we're asking it to do. So we're just chatting with the internet, taking it further than we ever could with just a search engine. Unbelievable what we're getting. But you'll notice that down at the bottom, when I'm in Copilot, it's giving me Ask Me Anything. I could start a brand new topic by clicking on the plus sign down at the bottom left. Let me go ahead and do another chat. So I'm going to say new topic because I'm physically in Copilot. I went to my internet browser. I'm in Bing, I was searching for something and I just clicked on the Copilot icon up at the top. So when I'm here, what you're seeing at the top is what you saw when I was in the Copilot for Windows 11, where I can be scrolling through all these different suggestions. So I've got these arrows up at the top and it says, help me prepare or write a successful sales pitch. You wouldn't believe the things I have Copilot write for me. Or I've already written things and I wanted to help me make it better. I'll show you some examples of doing that as well. But you could see, you could go into any of these if you want to, or of course you have the option of going down to the bottom and doing your normal search. But something that is unique and relatively newer to this, because there's been some updates, of course, since Copilot was released in Windows 11, I want to take you back to the top for a moment. At the very top, you can be switching, just like we did in the Windows 11 Copilot, we can switch to work versus web. So just so you can see, that can be done directly here. So if I know I'm going to be using Copilot a lot, I open it from the bottom right of my taskbar, but then I click on the icon, having it take me into my Bing search engine to my Copilot so that I'm in my internet browser. Okay, so it's giving me some information based on what I was searching for. It was taking me back to that search that I had. But let me just go back and I'm going to do something brand new. I'm going to go back to web. And I'm going to do a couple of other searches, but before I do that, there's this icon called Notebook. If you click Notebook, on the left-hand side, I can be typing in what my questions are, and it can create the content on the right-hand side. If I go to Notebook, that's what it's going to give me, that split screen on the side. So let me go ahead and put some things in. And since we just had, let me do a couple of different things here. I'm going to do a search on, let me actually do this. We were just talking about an eclipse. Hopefully you had an opportunity to see the eclipse. I'm going to say, when will be the next eclipse in the USA? So I'm going to go ahead and click submit. It's automatically going to, of course, analyze that information and it's going to give me my results on the right-hand side. So depending on how you want things to be displayed, you can do it this way as well. And sometimes I actually do like this better, and I can continue to prompt on the left-hand side. Pretty close to the image I got the other day. But anyway, it's giving us some Microsoft partners down at the bottom that I could also go into. So we can see that this is when the partial lunar eclipse is going to happen, depending on, of course, where it's going to be at. But anyway, whatever you type in, depending on how you want it to look, this would be an option for you to do. But I want to point out at the left-hand side, when I was doing my chatting, which could also be done, of course, in the main screen, going all the way across, down at the bottom left, you're going to see where I could do a new topic. I also have an icon to add in an image. But what I am liking is the microphone. In different places with Copilot, you can actually talk to it. So instead of physically typing, we can actually click on the microphone and talk to it. So let me say let me actually put in a couple of things. Which of the oops, sorry, I gotta allow. Which of the states had the full coverage of the eclipse this week? I like being able to just talk to it because otherwise, you're typing, it takes you a while to type things out. Just talk to it. So anytime you see that microphone, I don't know if you can hear that. So it's actually reading it back to me. Not sure if you can hear that or not, if that setting is turned on, but it's pretty cool. So it gives us all of those states. So pretty great that it can do all of that. But let me kind of work with a couple of images here because our time, of course, goes so quickly. I'm going to click on the Copilot icon just to jump back from the notebook view. I'm going to go back to the regular Copilot view instead of notebook, although I do like the notebook view. But something else that I wanted to mention is at that bottom left, I can click Add an Image. If I add an image in, I'm going to go ahead and upload from my device. Am I scared of what might come up? But let me open this up. This was actually at our cabin last fall, an image that I had at our cabin in Wisconsin last fall. I can ask different information about this. What would you say about this image? So we could have it give us different information as to what it thinks about this image. Or maybe I want it to give me a short, it's still analyzing, but I'm going to still type this in, a short caption for this image. So first it's still analyzing the image. Like I said, sometimes, I'm sorry, it's a little bit slow, but here it's still reading to me. Let me turn off that voice in case you were hearing that. So it's automatically giving me some information about that image. But what if I want something just very short, short caption instead? I can have it give me a short caption. Oh, that's not a good short caption. What is a short caption about this image? It was giving me auto typing, so I gave it that. It's still giving me a little bit too much. That's not short. But anyway, the best part about this is I could say, give me one sentence. So I'm going to say, give me one sentence that is funny about this photo. We can narrow down exactly what it is that we're looking for. We can even have it create an image for us. If I have time, I'll do an example of that. But as you can see, it gave me Lost in the Woods, but loving every minute of it. That's probably exactly what I would be saying. Loving every minute of it for sure. But it's amazing to me what these GPTs are capable of doing with an image. We can upload files, we can have so many different things. But what I've been showing you right now has been utilizing this within the Copilot. Let me go ahead and I'm going to close Copilot window for right now. Actually, I'm going to close my MSN as well. I'm going to close that window. I happen to be on a website right now. This is a website with 66 communication skills with some examples. And I want to get a summary of this website. You can go to a website and ask Copilot to give you a summary of that site. If you notice on the right-hand side of my screen, I have what is called a sidebar. The sidebar gives you access, and this is something that can be turned off. So if you don't want to see it, you don't have to. But basically what it's going to give you is up at the top, you can see it's got the Copilot icon, but it also gives you search capabilities, can take you into games, into applications, and you can actually go into the plus sign and add in different things that you want it to have as well into that customize option. But let me show you how the Copilot feature of it works. If you open Copilot or hesitate on it, you're going to see up at the top it's got chat and it's got compose. You can also open the full window, depending on, of course, and you can refresh it. I happen to be on web, not work right now. So you're seeing some similarities to what you saw before. Down at the bottom, I also have I'm using the GPT-4 Turbo version, but down at the bottom, I could also just ask it a question. But